Hello. It is day 7, NaNoWriMo, roughly 8 o'clock in the morning, which has made my lighting absolutely terrible, but we shall overcome this difficulty. As of last night, I am at 11,000-ish words. I think it's like 11,422, 11,420, something like that. Which is well ahead of my 50,000 word goal, well under my 80,000 word goal that I've totally abandoned, so that's okay. And then right on track, and like well over the NaNoWriMo where you should be on day 7 goal or whatever, or day 6 goal or whatever. I actually finished a little bit early, like my minimum words, and I was like, you know what, I'm actually going to stop because I have other things I have to do. Did some art for my game that I had been kind of lagging behind on, and then did some stuff in the evening, and then did another 1,000 words over the course of the evening through other stuff. And you're like, okay, cool, you're ahead, great. Problem is, I'm gonna be gone all day today doing stuff with my mom for her birthday. So I was writing to try to get ahead, so today wasn't quite such a deficit. And depending on what we do and where we go, I may be able to write in the car because she'll be driving, and I don't know what we're doing. She hasn't told me. She just said, I'll be there at 9, and I went, okay, because that's my mom. And so that's kind of where I am today, is hoping I actually have time to write. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Either way, I'm a little bit ahead. I can make up the difference the next days. Day 7 feelings so far are, I was a little bit worried. So I'm a short fiction writer. I have published short stories. I'm a short fiction interactive. So I've published short stories. I have scripts that I've done that are maybe only like 20 minutes. I've worked on episodes of things. I'm in the writing room for a big project right now. I've done audio dramas. So despite the fact, so I wrote a book when I was like 14, and I finished it when I was like 19. And it was like, I think it came out to 80 or 90,000 words. Now you're like, okay, that means you know that you can write that many words, right? Here's the thing though, it took me 4 years, like 14, 15, 16, like it took me like 4 or 5 years to like write, for one, but that was because I was in school and stuff. But also it's a very rambly piece. There's a huge tone shift right in the middle. You can tell because I was like, oh, that was when I like was in late high school and bad and stuff because high school sucked. So there's a huge tone shift there. It's not as cohesive as it could be. And so I haven't written anything, and the only other thing I've written that is that long is the D stands for demo, which I'm working on right now, which is going to end up being like 110,000 words when I'm done. But that story isn't really one story, it's 6 stories, because it's an otome, so there's branching narrative, so it's just writing 6 stories. And I had a game I wrote that was closer to 60,000, but again, that was just like multiple stories. Actually, that one was the same story sold multiple times. So I was a little bit worried that I wasn't super worried about hitting the 50,000 goal. I was like, you know what, I think I can do that. And I think even expanding out into 2 months, I can hit 80,000 because I know I can physically do it. My concern was I was going to run out of story before getting to that word goal. Because I just don't write long fiction that often. I'm very like, bam, 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 let's get through things quickly. I think what I failed to remember is that because I've been writing games for so long, and because I've been writing scripts for so long, and in short stories that are very like snapshotty, you have to describe things in books. Which seems like the stupidest thing to like suddenly have a revelation on, but you have to understand that, you know, even if you're writing narrative, even if you're writing visual novels, which are a very highly text-based medium, and, you know, compared to like say RPG writing or whatever, like it's all dialogue, which is fun for me. I'm an actor. I love dialogue. But it's all dialogue, and you don't ever have to really describe anybody because you have visuals to match the game. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, and she stood there, long black hair flowing, blah, blah, because it's just like, and she stood there, Sprite pops up. So the descriptions are very, like, there's action descriptions and some kind of general ease, but you honestly don't, lots of times, dig into those really heady, thick, full descriptions of places, which you have to for a book to paint that whole picture thing. I haven't described a main character in like words in a very long time, I'm suddenly realizing. And so I'm sitting here going, I have no idea how to describe my main character. But what that means, so that's one struggle, is like, I don't know how to describe people. I don't know what I'm doing. So that's one struggle. But the inadvertent advantage of having to do all that extra work is I'm less worried about hitting the word count for like the story to word count ratio. I think I can do it. Like, I'm seeing where I am at like 10,000 words and how far I am in the story just by letting myself just write everything very detailed. I'm like, I think I'm gonna be okay. That being said, I may have to scale back a little bit. But this has also been a very interesting thing because this is the first time I haven't done this in a very long time, but I'm actually writing from the beginning and then just writing. I rarely do that. Most of the time, I pick like scenes I want to happen along the arc of a character or along the arc of whatever, and then I write between the scenes. I'm actually started at the beginning and I'm just writing straight through. I think a lot of that has to do with it being a road trip story. It just makes it easier to think, you know, beginning to end. You know, I've been on a lot of road trips, and so I'm thinking through being on a road trip. What do you do first? What do you do next? And so I think that's why I've approached this particular story so much differently than other stories. And yeah, it's been interesting to see what I'm capable of doing, how I approach this particular project so much differently than anything else I've ever written. And feeling kind of empowered and excited. Like, I was kind of dreading coming into this, but it's been really nice to just sit with this one character in a car doing stuff, which I normally don't do that. You know, I do a lot of large cast pieces. There's a couple of minor plot points I'm gonna have to kind of hammer out, but like, who doesn't have that on occasion? We'll just have to. Hopefully, people will be willing to suspend belief just a little bit, but I don't want to ask too much of that. So that is day 7. I was thinking if I end up writing more, I would like check in later, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. So we'll just call this it for now. I will keep you updated as things go. Day 15 should be next. 15 works. I got some stuff going on the 16th, so I was like, 15th works. So we're good. Catch you then.